Hello everyone, this is the Human Advocate, advocating for humans, and I'm just walking, enjoying the nice, snowy, wintry ground all around me, and it's, nice walk, so I figured I had a moment, I get a rant, a bit of a rant, so the discourse has changed. Here, of course, online, since the debacle, the H-1B visa debate with Elon Musk, that debate has now expanded to American work culture, and it's a doozy of a debate. Let me tell you, because on one side, you have the older generation. You have an older generation that's saying you should pull yourself up by your bootstraps, go dumpster diving. I've heard you could work at Panda Express, you should work at Chipotle, and if you decided to go and apply for jobs, and that's the way you were told that the world works when you were growing up, by your teachers, by your government, by your parents, and you didn't figure out that that's actually not what you're supposed to do, then you messed up and you missed the boat, and I'm sorry, but you're shit out of luck. Wow. That's a hell of a debate there, you guys. You guys really have got it going on over there on that side, giving a lot of hope and inspiration and brilliance to the next generation of Americans that are hopefully going to take care of this country. But by your logic, they don't even care. You don't even care about what a border is or nation is, or whether the next people that live here actually have opportunities to live in the nation that you supposedly have. And again, it all just comes down to investment, of which they refuse to invest in something that they cannot themselves not partake in, not be a part of. That's one side of the debate. Now, let me give you the other side. The other side of the debate is all people want is the things that were promised by the people in power who had the time, effort, opportunity, ability to give to the people. And now they just are deciding, we could just renege on that whole social contract thing. That's fine. I'm not even worried about that. I don't think people really care, about how they live well, but they want to live well. If Chipotle was actually a way to achieve long-lasting success, like a family and a house and all those types of things, see, I'd work at Chipotle. But then, tell me, how many people date guys that work at Chipotle? How many girls? Probably not a lot. Just imagining. How many date Panda Express managers or live in joint houses with those people? I don't know. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's not. I have to do this research on that, but when you tell people, when you go out socially in circles and you tell them, yeah, you know what, I'm really proud, I'm a Chipotle general manager, or Panda Express general manager, or a Taco Bell general manager, and I'm making $70,000 a year, which, by the way, with inflation, is much less than what anyone was making fresh out of high school and college back in the day, where those people that lecture us say that it is. Go ahead, you can look up the numbers yourself if you want, but regardless, it's just sad. If we're not supposed to trust authority figures, which is fine, if that's what you don't want us to do, then don't be surprised when everyone starts rebelling against authority, because you are given a sacred honor, a duty to the next generation of people, Americans, citizens, whoever you want to describe it as, who come after you, and you are supposed to guarantee that those people are going to be able to live freely, secure jobs, have families, and make the world even better than the one that you left behind. That is the unspoken social bond between generations. Now, if you want to blow that all up, you can do that. You can go right ahead. If you guys want to argue for that, that's fine. You don't have to have a nation. The United States doesn't have to exist. People don't have to get along. We can be at each other's throats, and we can live in a libertarian anarchist system and just out every man for himself. That's fine. But it helps to know when you start from the baseline that that's actually the system that you live in, not the system that you were promised was just pulled out from under you like a rug pull on a fake cryptocurrency scam, which is what you boomers basically did with the generational divide. I have no idea how you could look at children and say they're just undeserving twerps. They're just dorks. They're just people that don't want to get ahead. You have to try to get ahead in this world. You've always had to try to get ahead in this world. Everyone's understand you've had to always try to get ahead in this world. That's fine. But you don't go and promise the next world that comes after you. Here's a prescription. I want you to follow this prescription to the letter. And if you follow this prescription to the letter, by the way, you're going to have better outcomes than everyone else. Okay, sure, that's fine. But when those prescriptions are filled and then there's nothing to show for it, well, that becomes a big issue. Really big issue. All I'm saying is we need to come together on this. This is not something that should divide the right. This is not something that should divide the right at all. Work culture in America, as it has become, is untenable. You expect people to work 80 hours a week. You want those who do work the 80 hours not to even be Americans, by the way, usually. Or, if they are Americans, they're people that have no idea what America is or hate America. And have no idea what the Constitution is besides. Because your entire hiring policy has been based upon an ideology that is communist in nature. But that's neither here or there, I guess. They really did a good job subverting you guys back there in the 1970s and 80s, thinking that you were fighting against communism because, man, you've brought it right home to your doorstep now, haven't you? Under the guise of living freely, working and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and all that. And at the end of the day, it just becomes another way of authoritarian control that is intertwined with government, corporations, banks, powers that be, all of it. And if that's the world that you want to live in, that's fine. You want to have those kinds of authority figures and you just want to be told by those the powers that be that there is no problem. The news media is fine. They have said there's actually no problem. The average cost of living is actually much lower than what it is. If you see that graph with, what is it? Average rent is like $600 or something. Like, where have you lived that rent is $600? That's just insane. Anyway, beyond that, you can't inspect or enforce the social contract. You can't expect us to do it because you've broken it. And if that's the road you're going down, that's fine. I spoke to someone on Twitter who was like, you guys are just a bunch of lazy twerps and don't know how to live in a hard, harsh environment. The problem is with that whole line of thinking is that the generational contract, again, is that one generation is supposed to make the generation after them better or easier for things to happen than those who don't. And that's just not happening. So, what's to be said? Nothing to be said, I guess. Only that the world is a dangerous place. And America, position in the world, becomes less and less sure as a country when you don't guarantee a future generation the opportunity to achieve. When you're applying to 500 jobs that are good paying jobs, and apparently no one wants to train, no one wants to take a chance on anyone, you have lost faith in humanity, and you have become my enemy, and I hope they become your enemies as well. This debate must be had. I'm not going to stop. I thought for a long time that this is appropriate to have, because there's just no way for society to exist under these conditions. If you are concerned about safety for yourself and your families and your wealth, then you better enforce the social contract. Otherwise, the marauders will come and they will offer something better, and then they will fall in line with that nation. You can already see it with Shang-Ho, what is the little red book, whatever. They're not offering the generation anything better. If the kids in that generation, if the Gen Zs actually had jobs and hope and power and responsibility, none of them would be on frickin' Red Book, distracted by little Chinese blibber blabber. It wouldn't even be a thing, because everyone would be happy at home with families, prospering, having children, making schools work, and all these other kinds of things. It's just absurd, ludicrous, and ridiculous that the past generation expects that the new generation is owed nothing. And that is wrong, incorrect, and they should be called out for it. So, if you are human, if you are a human advocate, remember to advocate humanly and tell those people in power to go shove it, because they're not being human. Anyway, have a good day. This is the Human Advocate. Take care. Bye.